Hi guys, welcome back to Nico Talks Hockey. Tomorrow is the 2025 NHL Draft, and so today I'm bringing my second and final mock draft to try and predict where everyone's going to go tomorrow. I'm predicting some trades, not in this mock draft, but I think that some trades are going to happen. So very likely this is not going to, be exactly correct. Mock drafts almost never are, but I love mock drafts. I love this draft season and all that. So I just thought I'd give one more shot at this mock thing and try and predict some selections here. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what the Blackhawks will do, and I can't wait to see what all the teams will do. I know there's going to be a lot of surprises, and I just can't wait. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number one, the New York Islanders. Previously, I had them selecting James Higgins, but after lots of, reading the reports about how much they like Matthew Schaefer, and he's just the consensus pick, right? It's not really a debate right now. I mean, just the overwhelming amount of scouts view him as the number one prospect in this year's draft. So I have them selecting Matthew Schaefer. Now, I could absolutely see them maybe trading Noah Dobson in order to get back into the maybe top 5, top 7 picks, get another first round pick, and select James Higgins. That I think would be a great move by the management in New York. I think that would absolutely just get their rebuild off to a really hot start. So but I have Matthew Schaefer going to New York, and I think that's pretty much all but confirmed now. At number 2, the San Jose Sharks. Now, don't hate me, Sharks fans, but I actually think this is what's going to happen. It's not any bias here, but a lot of reports have Michael Misa going there. But from what I'm hearing and from what I think the Sharks are looking for, I do think that Anton Frondell will be the number 2 pick and go to San Jose. It's going to be a crazy shock, but Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects just came out and said that he thinks it's likely now that the Frondell goes to the Sharks. Maybe they're looking for someone with just an amazing goal-scoring prowess that Frondell has. I mean, over the past couple weeks, I fell in love with Frondell. So if Frondell ends up coming to the Hawks and Michael Misa goes to the Sharks, I won't be too upset. I mean, I think I do want Misa more, but it's kind of close now for me. So I love just how Frondell, I mean, his ceiling, I think if I could redo the video of the player comparables, I think it's still lofty, but there is some truth to, I think, some comparisons between Alexander Barkov's game and Frondell's game if he really reaches the ceiling. So I have the Sharks picking Frondell and kind of surprising everyone here. And that means the Chicago Blackhawks, my Chicago Blackhawks, will be picking Michael Misa. Oh my God. If that happens, if this ends up happening, I mean, just what a dream. The highest point producer to come from the OHL since Patrick Kane. I mean, the stars seem to be aligning here if that's what ends up happening. And he would absolutely be a fantastic. I mean, I truly think I've said this a lot before, but I think he could have the chance to be, if Bedard's McDavid and who's Draisaitl. And I think that's Misa, potentially. I love Nazar, but I don't know if his ceiling is that high to be the Robin to the number 1 star who's Batman, if Bedard's Patrick Kane, who's Jonathan Toews. And I think that has the chance to be Michael Misa here. So very excited to see what the Hawks do. If it ends up being Frondell, like I said, still very, very happy. And we'll see about Frondell and Misa. Do they stick at center? Do they go to the wing? It's going to be very interesting to see. Michael Misa is on record saying that he's more comfortable at center. So maybe if Hawks pick him, maybe he stays at second line center. Obviously, he's on the first line power play, first power play unit, and then maybe Nazar sticks on Bedard's wing, which I would love because I think that they're dynamic together. And Frondell, I think he 50-50. Maybe he's wing, maybe he's center. We'll see. But yeah, that's how I have it. And again, don't hate me, Sharks fans. It's just what I'm thinking. It's what I predict. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. And so moving on to number 4, the Utah Mammoth. lots of smoke here. But as I record this, Peterka has been traded to the Utah Mammoth, and they did not trade their number 4 overall pick. So by all accounts, I think they're going to be keeping it, and I think they're going to go a little off the board, not too much off the board, but like based off what I'm hearing and the rumors and just maybe what they're looking for, I think Brady Martin is going to be going there. Now, I haven't really covered Brady Martin, but he's feisty. He's so feisty. And he might be exactly what the Mammoth are looking for in someone. It's kind of their kind of prototype of what they're looking for. Just kind of big and someone who's willing to ruffle some feathers. So they're going to have a very exciting team as soon as next year. Now with Peterka going there, Ginla's coming up. They've got Boot coming from Russia, and they've got some really nice defensive prospects coming in. So they're going to look like a powerhouse before we know it. But yeah, Brady Martin is going number 4 in my mock draft. And number 5, Nashville Predators. I think they sprint to the well, I mean, I guess they're not there, right? It's a virtual draft now, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but that's neither here nor there. I think they are very happy to select James Hagens at number 5. You know, Barry Trotz and co. I think they've been looking to try and find their number 1 center, and they could absolutely get it in James Hagens. He has the chance to be a number 1 center. That's his ceiling, I think. And he's going to get a ton of points. I know that they think, a lot of people think that he's on the smaller side, so maybe he's not as skilled or doesn't have the greatest ceiling as compared to some of the other guys. But I don't see size as concrete as that. I think that if they have the right, people to develop him in Nashville, he could absolutely blossom and become a true number 1 center. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say that I'm going to be only doing the top 17. I did the top 16 last time, and because it's just, I think that the really exciting part of this draft is like the first half. I think that's where all the really good prospects are. So I'm only going to cover the top 16, but I decided to cover the next one. Sorry, that's my stick falling, my hockey stick. Decided to cover the top 17 because the Canadians will have back-to-back picks. The Rangers, sorry, not the Rangers. Was it the Penguins? Either way, we know now the Canadians will have the 16th and the 17th pick back-to-back. So the Penguins will have the 11th and 12th picks back-to-back. So that's going to be very interesting. I forget how the Canadians have back-to-back picks again. But so yeah, just covering the top 17. But yeah, moving on to number 6, the Philadelphia Flyers will be picking here. And although I thought that maybe this player would be maybe going to Utah, I think they're going to like Brady Martin too much to pass up on him. So I think that Caleb Denoyer will be going to Philadelphia. A fantastic two-way center, pure center, and someone, if he's developed right, can probably build his offensive game more too. So, they got their wing of the future in Michkov, and now they could potentially get a low-tier 1C in Caleb Denoyer. It would be absolutely huge for their rebuild. Moving on to number 7, Boston Bruins. I know that some people may have Porter Martone here, but I don't. I actually have them picking big with size. I think they have them. I think they want to take a risk. I think they're going to go with Roger McQueen. He's great. I'm really high on Roger McQueen. I'm a little worried about his injury history. But in terms of his game and what I've seen of him and the tape, Roger McQueen is fantastic. So I think that Bruins, they take a chance on a potential, if he hits the ceiling, a 1C. I mean, he could be the 1C of the future with Pastrnak and whoever, right? And he's huge. He could be the next Tage Thompson. They just got to develop him right, and hopefully his injury history isn't a sign of what's to come. But in terms of the next prospect, I think Porter Martone actually, I had him in the first mock draft going to Seattle. I'm staying with him going to Seattle. It maybe comes a bit of a shock because he could go as high as, 3rd maybe to Chicago potentially. But no, I think that he falls a little bit just because of all the centers. I think there's going to be a bit of a run on centers here. So I think he falls a bit, which I think the Seattle Kraken are going to be very happy about. Porter Martone, they've got a lot of center prospects, a lot of center depth. They actually have a lot of current wing depth, but not in terms of prospects. So I think they run and grab Porter Martone here, and they don't look back because Porter Martone has the ability to be a number one, but a first line wing. And, if he can slide along next to Shane Wright or, any of their centers they have stocked up. The names are escaping me right now in terms of their depth. But they've got a lot of centers, and so adding wing depth would be not even depth, but just some elite winger to help out their centers is paramount. Moving on to number 9, the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know what they're going to be doing with this pick. Maybe they're trading it for some now help. I don't know what they're going to do, but if they keep this pick, I think they're going to go defense, and they're going to try and help their right side defense because they need it very badly. They got so many left shot defensemen, they need right shot defensemen. Radim Murtka, someone who can play more of a shutdown role while also chipping on offense. Murtka is kind of the exact guy they're looking for. Big too, like huge. So yeah, that kind of fits exactly their needs. Moving on to number 10, the Anaheim Ducks. They're known to not always pick exactly what the scouts may be thinking, or the majority of scouts. I think they go off the board a little bit here, and they pick Carter Bear. Carter Bear is a left winger. He's someone who is very responsible on the defensive side of the game and away from the puck. He's someone who's also, I think, going to be, I could see as a player who's more, he's not seen in the public eye, or like the fans see him as high as maybe some scouts see him. So I have Carter Bear going to number 10, the Anaheim Ducks. At number 11 and number 12, the Pittsburgh Penguins, right? They have back-to-back picks, and so I think they're gonna try and diversify their prospect pool a little bit. They're gonna try to take a forward and a defenseman. I think they'll go forward first, and they're gonna pick Jake O'Brien. I think they're gonna be very happy that he's still available. I know that some scouts think he's like a top 3 prospect in this draft. At least maybe his ceiling is. And so I think that Kyle Dubas is going to be very happy if he's available. And they're going to pick Jake O'Brien, who could be, all signs point to him being at least a top 6 center, if not a potential number 1 center for the future. And then with their second pick, they're going to pick another defenseman. And he's the next best defenseman left. I think it's Jackson Smith, a left shot defenseman. Tons of offensive capabilities as a defenseman. Probably needs to shore up his defense a little bit more, but if Dubas and company can hire the right staff to develop these guys, and what is probably going to be a kind of a long rebuild here, but getting O'Brien and Smith back to back, they're going to be very happy if that's the case. At number 13, the Detroit Red Wings, I think they'll be selecting Victor Eklund. The fact that he's available at number 13 is kind of crazy, but when you think about all the other really good prospects ahead of him, it kind of makes sense. Either way, Eklund, he's going to be a top 6 player on a team. Could be Detroit, and I could absolutely see him if they develop him right. He could be, Raymond, Larkin, Eklund. I could see that being a future top line. But yeah, moving on to number 14, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I have them picking the same player I had in my first mock draft. I have them picking the top goalie of this draft, in my opinion, Joshua Ravensbergen. I think they take, they've gotten so many picks over the past few years, so many first-round picks, and there's almost not too much space anymore. What they really need to figure out is goaltending. Now, I know that they have a goaltender right now that is young and is blossoming. His name is escaping me right now, but he really blossomed towards the end of the season here, this past season. So, if they can move Merzlikins out, they can move Tarasov out, and have that goalie tell me in the comments what his name is. Jet Greaves, thank you. Jet Greaves is the goalie that is potentially the goalie of the future for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So if they can get some more help there, some more depth there, and get someone like Joshua Ravensburger, who you know, maybe his ceiling is like a tandem goalie, like a 1B. I could see that happening. So, you know, Greaves and Ravensburgen sounds good to me. Yeah, so only 3 picks left for this mock draft. Vancouver Canucks. I had them selecting Cullen Potter, very fast center. He can also play left wing. They're looking for center depth. They need centers. So they're hoping they probably stays a center. And this is where we get to some players who are probably the next rung of, you know, the tier of prospects and the caliber of prospects here is probably reaching a next level, which is just a little bit down below. But you know, Cullen Potter is still has the ability. You know, his floor isn't very high. I could see him potentially being a bust, and but I could also see him really blossoming. And it just depends on how they develop him and how he comes along. But if he hits, he could be a top 6, you know, second line center who's just insanely fast, just a speed demon, so to speak. At number 16 and 17, the last team who we're picking back to back is the Montreal Canadiens, and I think they're going to go the same kind of strategy as Pittsburgh, which is pick a forward and a defenseman to kind of round it out. They've got a lot of goalies right now, so I don't think they're going to go goalie, especially now that in my mock draft that Ravensburger is gone. So I think they go defenseman first, and I think they have Kashawn Aitchison. Best way to describe Kashawn Aitchison is, I'd say, with a comparable. I think he's very Trouba-like, Jacob Trouba-like. Someone who's just hard-hitting and just brings a ton of fierceness and grit and heavy hits to his game. I think that a lot of coaches are going to like him and his style of game, and he's going to be someone you don't want to play against. You know, maybe a smaller Zadorov, so to speak. So yeah, they're going to want to round out maybe the defense prospect pool a little bit. Kashawn Aitchison, great pick for them at 16. And at number 17, the last pick of the mock draft, I have them picking someone who I just think is such a Montreal player, just screams Montreal to me. Justin Carbonneau, he's a right winger. I understand they need center depth, but I think they're going to be trading for that because they need it now. They're not trying to wait a few years for their second line center. So I think they're going to just take whoever they think is best available, and maybe, you know, the Quebec, I think he's from Quebec, but I could be wrong about that. But his name just screams Montreal to me. So Justin Carbonneau, I think he's in that kind of range of, like, I'd say anywhere from 12 to 20 range of caliber of a prospect. But yeah, that's my second and final mock draft. The draft is tomorrow, and I couldn't be more excited. As soon as after the draft happens, I'll be making a video on my reactions to it, who I think the winners of the draft will be, and the losers are once it happens, and who the losers are. Probably like a top 3 winners, top three losers kind of thing. I just can't wait for all of it. It's one of my favorite times in the whole year. It's so much fun to watch where these prospects go and try to evaluate which teams have a bright future. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me if you guys could like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.